They've heard me say since they've met me that the playoffs and regular season are completely a different sport. It's not even close. And that requires a hardened mind and a hardened way to see the world. And so that mentality I applaud. He's got a big personality. That's Joel Embiid. And, when I put my own coaching hat on it, I view it more as just a reminder that they think like that. It's more of a mentality, I think, than anything.
But there's stuff like that, or other things. Have you seen his mindset, his personality trickle into other parts of the team, other guys kind of playing off his confidence or the way he carries himself?
I think yes is the short answer. I think when you see, like even TJ's sort of kamikaze bravado, that too like sprinkles into the team, and you feel Joel's confidence and swagger, that side that he has to his being. I give him credit. We want people backing themselves. We want an inner belief, and I feel like it's born out of them truly believing that we put in the time to deserve being rewarded. And it's not like you just make stuff up and you just throw out words for the sake of using words. These guys work. I respect their energy. I respect their work. I love my staff, and we feel like we put in good days. And so I think some of that is a reflection of the confidence that they feel we're heading in the right direction.
What do you think of this roadblock a little bit? Like, if you look towards the future, if Ja is a guy that is ideally or happens to be coming off the bench and he's a backup, and you have to tell him, like, look, this is your role, this is what you have to do. He's been a star all his life. Can he accept that? Is it hard to get those type of guys to accept that?
It is, and I don't begrudge him if he doesn't accept it. In relation to the end game to all of this, it's not Jaleel's fault he's in this situation, and I want to make sure that he is kept up, that he feels fantastic about himself. And to date, when I watch him on the end of a bench swinging a towel, cheering the team with Rashawn, from a teammate perspective, I give him an A+ and much respect. To come into this building yesterday and see him getting up and down the floor and sweating for that, what is now we call a low minute group, which rarely he is in, and putting in work, I respect that. To learn that late last night he walked into this building to get extra shots, I respect that. And so the roles that people accept versus the roles that people are given are kind of different. To date, I feel like he has handled it like an adult, like a pro, and his spirit has not taken a dent. And I intend on trying to keep him believing in himself.
Is it more beneficial for him, though, to accept, if it comes to that, to accept it? And a guy that's running, if you put him in for 20, 25 minutes and he's slapping hands and doing everything he can during that time, it's going to be beneficial in the future.
I think for the short term, I think it's wise and mature for him to accept it. When you really crawl in and say, what do you want out of your career? Like, what do you want to be? He's not going to tell you he wants to be a sixth man, and I don't blame him. And so, for the moment, like, I'm going to coach him as I just said, and keep his spirit up, keep his fitness up. 6 times in the next 30 days, we have an opportunity where Joel won't play, and so there's life, and that's not even including if something happens with foul trouble or injury or whatever. And so I see a very clear path in the immediate future where we keep him alive and we keep his spirit up. And there is an end game to why he's coming in late last night. There's an end game where he just had a hell of a practice. There's light at the end of his tunnel because of that Joel back-to-back situation especially.
Brett, you mentioned the spirit that you guys, that the team has maintained just a couple minutes ago. Is the difference between that kind of environment and another team at 10 and 25 that doesn't have it? Is that expectations, the kind of veterans that you might have on a particular roster? Because there are teams that are 10 and 25 that are going to not have that for whatever reason. Is it simply the matter of the roster? Are there, what's the difference, I guess?
If we have put in work into any area, we have put in a lot of work on trying to hold this thing together. And it's relationships, it's communication, it's off-court activities, it's them, I hope, genuinely believing that we want to make them better, that we care about them. And, you know, as a team, as a family, you go through rocky periods, but to date, we haven't had many, like what people would call NBA instances over 3.5, 4 years of not a lot of winning. And so I credit the guys first because they are good people. I credit my staff a really close second, where I think that we are pushing the right buttons. The human side of it all matters to us. And I think for that reason, you can navigate some hits in situations like this and hold it together. The guys would be able to give you honest answers also.
What do you see in Randall?
He's the all-time leading scorer in the history of Stanford basketball, and I felt like the gym was smarter today. I think he's a combo guard, you know, a 2-1, a 1-2. You know, we're still playing around with some stuff with Nick at 1 to just go categorically and get a, you know, a only point guard. There are times, like you thought about it hard, it's a little bit vulnerable, like if Sergio would continue to stay down. But it gives us a balanced practice. You know, we're very mindful of Gerald Henderson's health. So at times, you know, we don't sort of spend our money in practice and we need another body there. And I think that all those things, there's intellect, there's a history, there's a pedigree that we respect, and there's a balance to our team that he allows us to fill.
You starting to get excited about progress Ben's making, even if it's slowly but surely?
I am, to even see him today go through, you know, 5-on-0 stuff. Not a lot, not at 100%, but with us in a 76er uniform, the gym got a lift. You could feel it. You know, then you look around and, you know, to Mike's point, you see our bigs working their tails off. Rashawn, Jaleel, Nerlens subbing in. It was a wonderful gym today. It was a spirited gym. You know, we talked about at the start of the practice. There was a ESPN report that came out that had us rated the best defensive team in the East since November the 17th. That matters to us. You've heard me talk since you all met me. Like, that's where we have to build our program. And although it's not, you know, it's not stuff that's end of the year stats, our guys feel good about that. And we started practice, I think, with that mentality.
You said Ben did 5-on-0 today?
Yeah, just scripting, just sort of light script work and, you know, passing balls to teammates, interacting with teammates, running plays, you know, communicating with teammates. Albeit small, it's the first time he's done that, and it was great to have him.
Right, getting back to Randall a little bit. Like, when you look at the guys that you bring in, you see how they might match up when Ben comes back? Is that
Definitely.
a big factor?
It is, you know, and we've signed him to a 10-day contract, and so you sort of, you know, you never know. But you go back to that world that we all still live in, you know, you're experimenting with things. You're trying to find ways to win games. You're trying to keep guys healthy and happy. You're trying to have a balanced roster. And so with the selection of him, you know, you feel like if he was able to continue on, there could be a place for him. You know, he's a combo guard like Jared Bayless was. And so maybe. And, you know, we had a workout yesterday. He survived, and we went with him for those reasons.
How do you see New York using Porzingis this season? Have they given him some fire responsibilities too, or mixed in with some four? Anything that's jumped out from what you've looked at?
I like how they use him. I like how he uses himself. He can play, and he plays hard. And, you know, he's not afraid to go post. He clearly likes to trail in and shoot threes. But there's a toughness to him and a competitiveness to him that I think people didn't understand, you know, during that whole drafting process. You probably didn't see it as much as you see it now. And I think that they use him, well, and as I said, I think he uses himself really well.
But has been cut off that
I'd say it's like 80%. You know, it's nothing at 100%. And so I think everybody should just feel like today in our world, and certainly in the program's world, the city's world, you know, it was a good day having him back.
Coach, for a guy like Jaleel, you say you don't want him to be happy. You're glad with what he's doing, but you don't want him to be happy about being a sixth man for the long term. You sort of have to balance that with a lot of big men. These guys at some point seem like they would get frustrated. How do you keep that from happening? You said you want to keep the spirit of it. How do you do that?
I think it goes back to Mike's question earlier. It's you just communicate with them. You're very candid with, like, this is how we see it. This is why we see it this way. This is your path out of it. And it's not a dead end. And really, when you step back and judge what can you really control, it's pretty clear, and he's mature, that you can control different things. I tell him to don't listen to people, don't seek, you know, internet stuff. You stay with your family. You don't worry about the noise. You just stay around, right? You just stay with us. And it ends up him feeling like he's continuing to put in time. We all know when you've earned the right, when somebody calls your name or gives you an opportunity, if you're ready to go play. And it's an awful feeling when you don't feel prepared. Some of us might have been in college and gone into exams and didn't really like to walk into the classroom. You don't want to feel that way. That's an awful feeling. And for him to feel prepared, like he's put in the work, so that when his time does come, he's good to go. He knows that better than I do. And so those types of things matter, and it's all I know. Like that's what I'm trying to give him, and I feel like I hope it's the right path. I hope it's the right message.